This is Bloomberg Businessweek with Carol Massar and Tim Stenovec on Bloomberg Radio.
Well, we've got a financial literacy problem here in the U.S. Each year, the TIAA Institute does a financial literacy assessment of adults in the U.S. They have this thing called a GFLEC Personal Finance Index. This year, U.S. adults only answered 48% of questions on the index, Carol. And some groups fared better than others. The levels of financial literacy among Asian Americans and whites are roughly equal. That's at about 55%. But Black Americans correctly answered 34% of the index questions on average, and Hispanics, 38%.
Another gap that needs to be closed. So people who are financially literate tend to do better. This is why it's important. FINRA found that people who scored higher on its financial literacy quiz were more likely to set aside emergency funds, more likely to plan for their financial futures, and spent less of their income. So let's get to our next guest. She is working to tackle inequality through financial literacy. Dr. Renée Baker is founder and CEO of the RBI Group. It's a firm that does marketing and financial education. She's also an adjunct professor at the University of South Florida, and she joins us on Zoom from St. Petersburg, Florida. Renée, great to have you here with us. First of all, tell us about your mission and how you are going about it.
Well, thank you so much for having me on today. The mission around the RBI Group is really to educate, empower, and elevate individuals and organizations when it comes to financial literacy. That's really truly our imperative. But we also have an opportunity through amplification of strategic marketing opportunities where we're focusing in the wealth management space. That's where I've spent decades of my career, and getting in front of the problem, as you mentioned earlier, tackling the financial literacy challenge here in our country.
The thing is people who need the services of wealth managers are probably pretty financially literate because they don't have the problem of not having money. In fact, they have the problem of, okay, well, how do I invest this money? How do I make this money grow?
Right. And I'm not here to say there are many people who have financial literacy education and are aware. But as you highlighted, there is a tremendous opportunity when it comes to the overall financial education within our country. For instance, I think about my background. I didn't grow up talking about finance in my community. It wasn't until I got to college where I majored in finance undergrad that I started to have that conversation. And as a result, I was able to share with my three daughters the importance of financial literacy. So while there is an opportunity for financial literacy in our country, yes, there are people that have it. But we have about 31 million children in our country that do not have financial literacy. And as you highlighted earlier, just a small percentage of adults feel comfortable when it comes to financial literacy.
So Renée, help me out here. Again, this is one of those stories, whether we're talking about diversity, whether we're talking about women as CEOs. I feel like I've been talking about it for decades, and the same thing with financial literacy. And I remember talking with people about creating books for kids so that they could really learn about it early on and make it part of like a core curriculum. But here we are, same problem, same conversation. How do you move the needle specifically?
That is such a great question, Carol, and opportunity. And that's why I'm here. And that's why this is an imperative and a mission for the RBI Group, because financial literacy, for one, is not taught in schools. There are so many adults in our country that are not comfortable having the conversation about money. But what we recognize is through the RBI Group, through our programs and our tools and resources, we can get in front of it. And one of the opportunities we have is through our kids programs. We have so much data and research that shows that the earlier that children have access and learn and are educated about financial literacy, the better off they'll be. And as adults, they'll make more informed decisions.
Right. But how do you do it? So I get it. I think we all agree we're on the same page in terms of the problem, and starting earlier is going to be more productive, right? Longer term. So right. How are you specifically moving the needle on this?
Thanks, Carol. So one of the opportunities we have is through our direct-to-consumer kids program. Through our partnership with the Centables Financial Literacy Program, which was really designed to reach and teach kids about money and through edutainment. Finance doesn't always have to be bad. Finance can be fun. So through educating and entertainment, we're able to have that offering. We also provide opportunities for tools and resources from children through adults through our multiple offerings. And the best way to get that information is to go to our website on bcs-kids.com for our direct-to-consumer program, but check out the RBIgroup.com for more information about our tools and resources.
What about...
That's one that we get ahead of it.
Sorry to interrupt you there. I didn't mean to do that, but I am wondering about the role that public schools should take and what high schools should do. It's funny. I was reading through the notes that you sent our producer a little earlier today, and this is actually improved. You write that only 19 states require a 1-hour course on financial literacy to graduate. In doing research for this, that's actually double what I found from just a few years ago. So it seems like states are starting to get the picture.
Right. And that's another way, having that conversation, teaching financial literacy in schools. And while only 19 states require a 1-hour course in financial literacy, getting into schools and getting into kids younger. Right now, financial literacy is not taught in elementary schools. So there continues to be an evolution of this discussion around financial literacy. So getting in front of kids and having that conversation early, but not missing out the fact, yes, it's important. The sooner you get started, the better, but it's always a good time to learn about financial literacy. And we have an opportunity, and that's one of the imperatives of the RBI Group in that discussion.
So do you provide programs then, like to help the schools? Is that...
So we have, yes, absolutely. So we have the Sensible Financial Literacy Program.
Okay, that's right. Sorry, forgive me. Finished. Sorry, I wanted to let you know we have about 30 seconds left here, and I didn't want you to run out of time. So go ahead.
Yes, so thank you, Carol. So we have financial tools and resources through the RBI Group, through our Be Sensible Smart program, which is bcs-kids.com, which is our Director's Consumer Kids program. We also provide a variety of tools and resources to educate kids through adults. We even have lesson plans to help teachers talk to their kids and adults and parents talk to their kids. And you can reach out to us on the RBIgroup.com for those resources. But there are actionable ways to get started.
Well, certainly something that we've been talking about for a long time. Dr. Renée Baker, founder and CEO at the RBI Group, joining us on Zoom from St. Petersburg, Florida. You are listening and watching Bloomberg Radio.